Alright, live here at Graham's trailer. We'll call it that, so we don't clear any names on it. Your mom's just like, that's brutal. So yeah, my intentions are to start a podcast called Global Language, like Let's Talk. You know, I was gonna do Talk is Cheap, but that's already a radio show, so I can't steal that. No copyright issues there. I hope I'm just shouting you guys out whatever radio station it is, but I really do like having like intelligent conversations with people. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, everybody is good at talking, but there's a certain level of conversation that is just really intriguing to me, and I feel like we're having one right now, so the recording process is duly necessary. But this is going to be released on the internet. I hope you guys don't mind. I just want to get all your consent on tape before I go doing that and I get in trouble. Sure, man. Yeah. Alright, cool. You're my brother, so I don't really care what you say. If you want to put me through a lawsuit, that's your loss. Oh, it's on, motherfucker. So, we're kind of just talking about politics right now, world issues, and everybody's got some awesome opinions, but I really don't know how to start a conversation about politics or world issues, so. Well, Graham's the politician over here. Oh, yeah. Seems we're talking about politics.
I was going to say, I mean, they were like Daryl was talking about being kind of apolitical, and I'm kind of like that even though I'm super into politics, right? Like, I follow it so much because I hate how it works, right? So, it's super weird that way, you know, almost the more you know, the more you're like, holy fuck, this is not what I want to be looking into. Yeah, that's how I feel, personally, and that's why I know this is probably an ignorant conversation for me to be having right now, but I'm basically in this for the education because I tend to steer away from looking at political articles and watching political videos.
I honestly hurts me. Like economic, you know,
it genuinely hurts me.
You look at politics, you follow like all the shit you see, right? You follow the economics and everything. But I look at like human behavior. That's why I always say to Graham, like, you know, I'm apolitical because the big shit, I look at it too much along a sociological point of view, right? Whereas like municipal governments, like fucking cool, like they do what you can, you know, they fix the roads, school buses, utilities, like all the shit you need to actually live. You don't need to bomb people on the other side of the planet to fucking live, right? So like, it's like they're a club. It's like the big boys. It's like all the municipal, local, provincial, state governments, whatever, where we live, like they do the hard work, and then like it's just those big boys and fucking play and shit, right? You know, like it's like fucking don't trust those guys.
Yeah, like the big thing about like if you're reading a political or if you're avoiding or whatever, it's like following the Canadian election or something, or the American one right now or anything, right? Like what the people are saying are they're just following their talking points and their lines and stuff anyway. And then even the journalists are following their own lines or their own things. So like if you really like want to get into it, you have to sort of understand the mechanics behind it. Like because there's a whole lot of bureaucracy, a whole lot of people stuff that are like doing the jobs of government that are not part of the party system. So, like, it doesn't matter who's leading sometimes, because those people are just going to do their job how they do them anyway, because they've been doing that job for 20 years or 30 years or whatever. So, like, yeah, that's like that whole thing is like a bit of a like public relations game that goes on from the government, kind of, but it's not like a lot of what they're talking about is not really how it works, you know. Like,
well, we're relating that to like big government, right? Like we're relating that to like other forms of systems or bodies or collectives, right? Like even like the Canadian music industry, right? We're relating to that. So it's like if you have just some form or function of the system, like there's always rules within, right? And like it's not anything like evil or like pernicious in the fucking game. It's kind of subtle like relation, but like you know, in that you have to behave a certain way. You don't want to like mouth people or say the wrong thing, or you can't make totally out their music and expect to get played on like local stations. Or you know, you have a abide. That's like fucking
there has to be some sort of structure.
But it's scarier and bigger and more dangerous. On a, you know what I mean? Like
it's a lot more
like fucking nukes and stuff.
Whoa, this is real. Let's just relax. Enough with the bombs. Maybe we should take a Joe Rogan moment and
fill these planes with weed and just bomb them with weed smoke and maybe everybody will just go out there. Dude!
Everybody on the
What are we fighting each other for?
I think everyone should do acid at least.
Yeah.
Calm the fuck down, man. Like, chill everything.
Yeah. It could take antidepressants all year, or it could be like 2 or 3 acid trips.
Like, to me,
That's the way I look at it.
and that's what it seems to me too. Is like,
against those
you have all these politicians putting out these commercials and just bashing the fuck out of each other. I'm gonna just bat one off the top of my head that I heard the other day, and this one disgusted me. The Liberal Party is enforcing a rule where they're trying to put liquor in the grocery stores and convenience stores.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's the Ontario Liberal.
So that will stimulate the economy a lot, and it makes it a little bit more convenient so you can just go get your groceries and get your liquor at the same time. I know that sounds bad, but whatever, man.
Easy.
You can get cigarettes at every store. Why can't you get liquor? Like, if you make it more convenient for people, more people are going to be willing to buy it.
Everywhere else.
As long as that makes sound, it's doing what they want. It's going to stimulate the economy.
Most of the provinces and all of
but what they also what they use their argument is against that is that now liquor is going to be more easily accessible than getting a double-double. Now that is fucking bullshit. That is the biggest propaganda bullshit I've ever heard. You don't need ID to get a double-double. You can go to a Tim Hortons 24 hours a day. Yeah. You can't go to a fucking grocery store 24 hours a day.
Some of the phobies.
That's bullshit. On crime.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And all that bullshit. Like,
can you believe that?
Like,
it's 2015 and you're still slandering people. Like, how can you do that? Like, that's retarded. Or sorry, that was a wrong word to use. Like, that's just, I love that word. That's a terrible thing to do. Why are we slandering each other and trying to put each other down? If you're a real politician, if you're a good politician, you'll build your brothers up. You would want everyone to live towards your goals, not fucking if you're against them because you're
trying to get into like the more straightforward politic of like what's going on now in Canada. Like, we always have liked having like consensus governments and like minority governments, right? Because we have the whole parliamentary thing. So, like, it means that one party holds all, like, the majority of seats, but they don't hold, like, there's 300 and something. So it's like if they held 140, and then between the other two parties. So, like, they don't have enough. If two parties don't want them to do something, they can negate it because they have enough seats to do it. So it means, like, essentially, like, when the Conservatives have gotten in every time, they've only gotten, like, between 25 and 30% of the vote, but they're forming government every time. You know, 70% of people that voted against them, which is, like, so it actually is, like, yeah, the majority doesn't rule in Canada, right? So, like, we've tended to like minority governments because it forces them to have to talk to each other and, like, find things they can move forward instead of just constantly being locked up. Like, and Harper's thing has been to lock it up, right? He's trying to sort of change. He's doing an American style thing, right? Like, he actually has a bunch of people that worked on Bush's campaign working on his shit right now, so you can tell.
Think you're gonna get voted back in?
Yeah. Is he like Prime Minister economics?
We're gonna have a minority government next time around. It's either gonna be the Conservatives or the NDP. I've been predicting Conservative minority, unfortunately, since before the election was called. I've been like, next one's gonna be that, and it's still going to be Harper. So like, it'll be Harper, and the balance of power will be fucked up. Harper's going to prolong Parliament. We're going to have another election like right away. It's going to get all fucked up again. That's kind of my prediction, unfortunately. But
Canadian bus. See, you know what?
But actually,
I know I may be a bad person.
If he doesn't win, he's going to quit politics though too. So like, if he doesn't actually get a mandate, he's going to quit politics.
I try not to touch the subject of politics because I do not vote. Like, I will not.
My friend going no vote.
And I know that. No, I get that. I understand that. I respect everybody's opinion, but you know what? I just don't want to participate because I honestly want nothing to do with the whole process. I do not study politics for a reason because it's a subject that's way too close to my heart emotionally, and it kills me to look at.
I used to have like a lot of problems with politics too, like that. You know the way I look at it now, more or less, like, we have to live like in Casway for a start, and that's for a lot of us who live around there. You have to live here, right? And there are large towns, right, with large populations. There's a lot going on.
I mean, we don't have to live here, but we do live here.
We do live here, but like, we're not anytime soon going to go run off in the woods. You know what I mean? So it's like,
you're right.
We could.
I would love to.
I'd love to as well, but
unfortunately, we have 6 months of grueling winter.
But I don't have kids, right? But like, I produce garbage and garbage services, roads. I use the place I live in, right? So like, something needs to organize that. Like, it's a business when you look at it, town.
100%.
Something needs to organize that and run that and do management. And it's just everyone, when it comes to a global thing or even like a national thing, like the country, like everyone wants something different. So how do you appease everyone? Like, you need something to keep everyone sane. If you're going to live within borders and have you know what I mean, like a
there needs to be some sort of governing body or structure to live by for stability.
And all the luxuries that go along with society, right? So like government needs to be there, but does it need to be the government that we imagine? I don't know, but like we have a lot of problems with it. But there are a lot of things that it produces that are good, right? But there are also a lot of problems. So it's like, how do you weigh all that?
Well, I think like proof in the pudding. Like life on Earth right now, like human life anyway, the quality of life, no matter how shitty it is, like the shittiest off you could be right now is not as shitty as you would have been 10,000 years ago before there was any real society. You know what I mean? Like that, if you were the worst off,
we're far more superior now than they are now.
So if there's any proof that like things like organized religion and organized government and things like that have some merit, it's that. Like we needed those things. We needed those things as stepping stones to try and lift the species. You know what I mean?
Like cohesion and synergy.
Yeah.
Is a word, but
as much the
internet anything goes.
It causes a whole pile of disparity, but it actually under the surface causes more like gelling of things. It's just that there's like certain obvious. Yeah. Like I heard this. What is it? Chris, I think it was Chris Ryan was talking about it. He's like human evolution and stuff like that, right? And what was I gonna say? Fuck.
John.
And that's why we smoke pot. But you'll think about that for a minute, and we'll go back to that. But what I was gonna say is like, you're right to a certain degree. Like we do need a structure and a stable society. The roadways are awesome. Who doesn't like driving down a paved road? But I hate it at the same time. As contradicting as that sounds, it's like if we didn't resort to having cars as our main source of transportation, and we kept everything communitized and cultivated, and we lived off the natural resources that we could sustain throughout the year. And unfortunately, in Canada, we have a really shitty climate to do that. I'm not talking about.
Do you think that might cause like a whole sneaky little thing where it's like now all of a sudden everybody in this neighborhood is at war with everybody in that?
No, you're right. Instead of causing it, right? I'm just saying my opinion. Yeah, that's how I can personally.
If you tear it down like philosophically, like that kind of weird. Evil is necessary in like human nature, you know what I mean? Like we kill each other.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but strangely enough,
it happens.
It happens, and it happens.
And it's been happening for centuries, and there's nothing we can do.
So no matter how you change things,
I'm not saying people aren't going to kill people. I'm not saying there's not going to be crime, and I'm not saying the world's not going to be the exact same that it is. But I'm just saying we don't need to be brutalizing the planet the way that we are. It's unfortunate that there's so many huge buildings and all these crazy trinkets and gadgets that we don't really need. They're fun, but do we really need them to sustain? Because as far as I'm aware, if I could wake up every morning and have the necessities to go out, hunt, gather, and cultivate the food for the day or many more days, and have a nice shelter to live in, with a family or not, it doesn't matter. As long as I can cultivate and survive, that's all I really need, you know? Like, I don't need money. I don't need the glorious house and heating and all that. I don't need the fancy cars, or the white ties, the beautiful suits, screw all that. Like, what is this? Like, this is $100 jacket that I didn't pay for, thankfully, but who the hell wants to go spend $100 on a jacket?
Go to boutique.
Yeah, exactly. But who the hell wants to frickin' go work all day when you can go play in the forest and play your guitar? I'm just kidding. Now I'm sounding like a weird hippie, but we do need structured society. Everybody has a dream, exactly. That'd be wonderful.
I dream of that constantly. I'm not gonna do anything soon.
You know what? I would like to experience this side of life a little bit further, and then when when I've reached everything I want to achieve at this point, I'd like to maybe adventure into that realm of society, you know? And it's a deep, dark realm, and it's pretty scary and daunting to think about surviving a winter in Canada in a bush. But you know what?
People did it, man.
No, exactly, and I'm willing to do so, and I want to experiment a little bit this year. Like, I love camping, I love being outside, but I've only gone winter camping once, and I quit after a day because I was like 12, and I had really bad anxiety with cold weather and cold water just because of an experience under a fish hut when I was like 7.
Oh,
I'm not even going to get into that, but now I really want to start. As soon as I learned the term, fear is nothing but fear itself, and fear is inadequate, so let it go. I simply just quit living in fear. You know, obviously I get scared. Everybody gets scared, but don't live in fear, because you can face your deepest fear and then become probably way more experienced, a lot smarter, and a hell of a lot harder on the inside.
Well, that's why, like, when I look at, like, because I always fantasize about running off in the woods too, right? But how I reconcile that,
I'm running off in the woods.
Well, yeah, but how I reconcile that is like, because I have to be here in a way. I try any friends, and it's a completely different lifestyle. You're completely uprooting, right?
Yeah, and I feel like
fun here as well, like what you're saying, the challenges, and like there's fun in society as well. Or you'd be a fucking musician, a comedian, an author, an actor, a scientist. You can do so many cool fucking things within what we created. You know what I mean? If you want to include yourself and have fun.
And I'm not by any means saying run away from society. I'm just saying get a big plot of land and cultivate on it. You know, so nobody can ruin it and turn it into a subdivision. Yeah.
Well, no,
I look at it.
I know exactly what you're talking about, right? Yeah.
Because you can still live within the means of society. Yeah. And there's a cheaper way to live in society is what I'm really getting at. And I should have explained it more like that. If you open a farm, if you buy a plot of land and turn it into a farm, and you can grow all your food, right? You don't have to kill animals either. That's the best part, you know? You can have chickens and use their eggs. Like, it's still humane to a certain degree because you're not, maybe yes, you are taking a chicken's, like, egg and fertilizing or birthing process and eating it, but you're not so much as cutting a chicken's head off and killing it, you know what I mean? Like, it's not inhumane as slaughtering animals and keeping them in captive food, right? I'm not opposed to that because I eat meat every day, so you know what? I can't really sit here and slander the meat corporation because I'm buying into it. But you do to a certain degree need the meat protein or some sort of alternative that is stable enough to give you the exact nutrition.
So it's right? Because I think a lot like you, but like this kind of stuff too, right? Because like I mean, I eat meat too, but I think it's like you see a video of an animal getting abused at a slaughterhouse or whatever, and you're like, holy fuck, that's fucked up. That's brutal. What's wrong with this? That's a fucked up human being, like right? Like, but I eat meat, and I don't have a moral thing about eating meat because like nature is an incredibly violent thing, and like to ignore that is almost like inhumane in a way.
You're right.
You're actually separating yourself from nature more in a way by not recognizing that there is violence in nature, and even as violent as that is, not to defend it, like that is less violent than nature. You know what I mean?
You're right.
So like. It's a really tricky argument.
I would kind of feel more comfortable if I was the one.
Because I think a lot about that too. I'm a pretty humane guy like that, but like I would hunt and eat what I can.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. But you're sitting there buying this factory butchered steak, and you're like, oh, you know what happened to this.
The thing in the wild is fair game, right? That's the way it works. Like
the nature of the beast is a lot more.
We call ourselves high on the fucking...
The top, literally the top of the food chain. Like, unfortunately,
we're not predators, so you strip us of everything.
We're done.
We're kind of scavengers and a little bit hunters, but we're mostly a scavenger species, right? That's why we're on.
That's why we had to create weapons. We don't have the natural tools to kill.
Hunt in groups, right? And we would, because we could travel long distances and run and walk.
We're the only species that need tools.
We would travel in groups and like literally wear down the animal through attrition and then spear it or whatever. Right?
And that's what I mean.
But if the animal's growing up in the wild and you snare it or you shoot with a bow or a gun or something like that, I don't see any harm in that you have to eat. And you know what I mean?
Not at all.
Because it's this thing lives its natural course. It's now food. Energy, you're eating it, you're consuming it, producing life in a way because it's allowing you to continue to live.
But this is where you can kind of justify that we weren't really meant to eat meat to a certain degree, because if you look at nature, what other species that uses tools to kill their prey?
Well, we're innovative.
I'm not disregarding that. I'm not disregarding
Because
that.
there is actually...
But just think about it from that standpoint.
There are lots of chimpanzees and primates that do that.
And there are chimpanzees that there are groups of chimpanzees that they study that show like sociological like
hierarchies
and they even like hunt other gangs of chimpanzees and kill like other chimpanzees and
but they beat them,
kill all the men, take all the women, and like so they can like put their genetic code in, like all that shit.
Yeah, I'm not disregarding. We are monkeys. We are definitely monkeys. There's no disregarding that.
Monkeys on their own.
Hairless monkeys that just went wild.
Yeah.
But hey, man, I'm not going to disregard the fact that nature is a vicious cycle and we have to live within the realms of it.
I think like we're just we're apes that haven't figured out what we need on this planet. Like pandas need like bamboo, right? We need pot.
Yeah, we need pot.
Fucking more pot.
How many times have you heard that in your life?
All the apes that smoke pot are the fine ones. They're cool. They're okay. The other ones are crazy. They're all trying to
I came up with a theory that way back when this fucking really horny ass alien race came down and fucking just started fucking Neanderthals. Humans. Maybe they left behind fucking pot. Like there you go.
Hot mushroom. Try the psilocybin. You will thoroughly enjoy this mushroom. You will go batshit bananas. If I'm not, I think I said the wrong one, but it's the one with the red dots all over it, for fuck's sake.
Psilocybin?
Yeah, that's okay. So I did say it, right? The Santa Claus mushroom. Have you ever heard the story behind that?
No.
Yeah, apparently,
the presents under the tree.
Yeah. The mushrooms are the presents under the tree.
That's great.
Yeah, no, I heard the whole thing on Coast to Coast, man. George Norrie on the Christmas special, man, and he told the whole fucking. It was awesome, actually. It's a great story.
I don't know the whole story, so I shouldn't have brought it up really, but listen to Joe Rogan podcast. I'm sure he talks about it a bunch of times.
Is it about like the possibility of like proto humans like eating like mushrooms and
well, kind of. They say they like it relates to a bunch of Bible verses and stuff. Like this is where the conspiracy guys are good for it, right? It relates to a bunch of Bible verses that like
okay.
So it's like there's like people who like look into the mysticism of it and go, okay, well when or no, it's not. Yes, there's some Bible verses related, but the tree and the presents under it is a newer tradition. I'm trying to remember where it comes from. But it has something to do with the way, like they say, it's like this mystic story where it was like a way of like, the enlightened people telling each other the story of like under the tree and there's the red and white presents and blah blah blah, right?
Yeah. And they begin to see reindeer flying and all that shit. Yeah. I can't remember the exact story, but it does tie into the Bible as well.
There's those theories
European
as well that like early humans ate, like that's how we like fast forwarded so quickly. Like we ate a bunch of like foraging for like food, and we find a bunch of like, oh, these look delicious, right? And, oh, who am I? What am I here for? Oh, and then all this crazy shit happens, and then we start thinking, oh, kill them! Yeah. Paranoia thinking, he must be sleeping with my cave woman.
He doesn't want to face off to you in the monkeys, and he's like, because that's kind of how I picture it, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have.
Oh man, it was a classic film, but there's the opening scene where it's the monkeys, the proto-humans, and there's this obelisk that's like the kind of mysterious thing in the movie, and one of the monkeys goes up and touches it, and it like enlightens him to something, so he like realizes that he can like use things for tools, and then he uses those tools to kill another monkey, and so he becomes the most powerful monkey. And then fast forward to the future, and then all of a sudden like something mysterious is happening. There's this black obelisk sitting on the moon, and they're like, what the fuck? Yeah. So the opening scene kind of has nothing to do with the movie, but it has everything.
You know Taylor Secret?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's his.
I didn't. Dude, I should know that movie, but I haven't.
Oh,
seen
dude,
it. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
man. It's a little long. I know some younger people have shown it too. Like, because I'm old enough to be able to handle the older movies that have the slower plot lines.
Yeah, it's a long,
movie.
I grew up watching spaghetti westerns as well, man. I think it's
you know how great
I have some friends that see
because
like old school movies.
My buddy was talking, why he watches this fucking white shit.
Grant,
literally
Space Odyssey.
the original movie.
Oh, 16.
That was a great movie.
9 or 7 or something.
Yeah. Before Star Wars.
So and the special effects looking.
And it takes place in space and shit. They have ships and stuff, and like, the effects are crazy.
So you'll watch it, and you still swear that they made they could have made it today. Like they he got the film tricks to make the space background.
There's the one where where the guy walks in with a full.
They did it with a spinning room and stuff.
Oh man,
incredible.
I really want to watch this movie now. Damn.
It's fantastic. It's famously like one of the best movies to watch, like on acid or mushrooms or something. If you watch that movie on psychedelics, like you'll hit some pretty pretty poignant facts.
It's also like watch. It's like one of those movies that you watch like on silent, like Pink Floyd playing.
Yeah. Like The Wall.
Yeah, something like that.
There's a lot of great like trippy psychedelic film effects used in it too. Yeah. So
that'd be awesome. Definitely have to check it out.
So I love sort of like the like little philosophy under it too, right? With the little with the obelisk and what the fuck is it, right?
Yeah. It holds the answers more or less.
Yeah. But hey man, you wanted to get some food. We've been talking for 26 minutes now.
Oh,
so we could probably stop recording anytime. Probably boring the hell out of people.
No, I'm having fun.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome. We gotta get back to the studio, I guess. Listen to these tracks, maybe lay down another one, or lay down some freaking piano time. But hey, man, it's been great talking to you guys. Thank you for doing this with me. Really appreciate it. But I guess the studio is what's calling our name. So yeah, one love.